So you just got to level 8 and you unlocked the high school and you're crazy enough to do it by yourself. Is it impossible to do? Well, of course not. I'm going to show you what to do, and we're going to continue on in our beginner series here. And I added some items. So with us being level 8, just unlocked the crucifix. We have the paramic. And I added me extra dots and writing book. So if you have been following along, you will know that I love to start with the video camera, and I try to get you to use the video camera. Well, let's not use the video camera. What? I know, right? Larger maps, you're going to want to start with the paramic. I like doing the paramic, the thermometer, and we'll actually start with the flashlight, because that's going to make things a little bit easier. So, we know that the breaker is there. Breaker is going to be on. Now, I am playing on amateur, but I did increase the sanity percentage lost, and I have no setup timer for this. So, here's my suggestion when it comes to high school. With it being on amateur, all the doors are closed. Reason why you want the paramic is so you can help listen to interactions, so in case you miss something. Tier 1 paramic is alright. Typically what I find is you'll hear a whisper first before actually hearing anything. But with all the doors being closed, you know that if you see an open door, it's a good place to check. So let's go in here, and I'll show you how this is possible even on increased amateur mode, but which means if you can do it on increased amateur mode, you can do it on it easily. Did I just hear something? Did I just hear something? I am confused. So, it's going to be hard to look for disturbed objects, because there is a lot of disturbed objects in here. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of keep it closed for now, and see if we hear anything again, or maybe like a whisper or something. So, I'm not really sure. It kind of sounded like that's what the goal of the paramic is. It's a good way to start about the paramic, right? Paramic is good at enhancing the sounds of interactions and all that. So early on, when you don't really know what interactions sound like, you can kind of get a better idea for it. There's also can be ghost whispering into the paramic. That makes it way more interesting as well. But that's how you kind of know where the area where the ghost is, whenever you hear the whispers, you hear the interactions, and it's good for something like high school where it can be easily missed. And as you increase in level, Tier 2 paramic is definitely a lot better because it kind of gives you a general sense of the direction that it is coming from, especially Tier 3, but that's a ways away. Now, because I'm not sure if I heard anything or not, I'm going to go upstairs, and this is the way I take high school, right? I take it just one side at a time. We start on the left side, and we go downstairs, and then we go upstairs. And again, we're keeping a lookout. Are there any open doors? Because all the doors are closed by default on amateur. If you're playing greater difficulties, just close the doors as you pass them. That's my advice on that, because that's just going to make it easier. So we're going to do, like, you know, one swoop. We don't have anything. If you want to, like, hold out the thermometer, see, it's where a thermometer is up to normal temp. So if we do see something, we can then check with the thermometer to verify where the ghost room is or hear something. And typically the way I get a lot with the Tier 1 paramic is I will hear the ghost whisper, and then I'll use that thermometer to just double check where it is. So I'm going to go down here. And we could go that way to test the other side, make sure there is nothing. Since this is up to temp, let's just check these rooms right quick to make sure that I did not hear anything. Because you should see it go down, like, right away, right? That's one of the perks of having the Tier 1 paramic, or the Tier 1 thermometer, and why it is so much better. It does look like everything's closed, so we'll go check the other side. It did just turn off the breaker. We do know that, and the breaker is on this side, and that's where we're headed anyways. Now, if you are playing solo on high school, the sanity loss is not as bad, because the increase of the map and playing solo, your sanity drain is not as faster as if you were to play multiplayer and smaller maps. So you can get through this. You can go through this a lot and not lose a lot of sanity, especially playing solo. Now, I do recommend not necessarily running, just like, you know, sweeping around. Do you hear any interactions? We do know that the breaker is under here, so we'll go turn it back on. and then we'll go ahead and turn on these main lights. That's why it's a good idea to have a general idea where the breaker is by checking before you go into the house, because the ghost can be really annoying with it. And again, we're just sweeping along. Do we hear anything? Do we see any open doors? And you may not see anything, and you may have to go back around. And then after that, I would recommend going back around with a thermometer and checking everything from there. We have not heard anything. We can run. We don't have to run. It did just turn off the breaker again. We may be able to get an EMF reading off of that, though, if we are fast enough. But you heard how the breaker sound... I didn't have my EMF. Okay. Couldn't remember. But you heard how the breaker sound was... a little bit more. Why is our... thermometer going way down? Is the ghost around here or something? I obviously turned off the breaker, but like... is its room like over here or something? May just be doing that because the breaker just got turned off and the ghost was obviously here. So let's go check upstairs for good measure. And a lot of time has passed, so there's a higher likelihood that we will start seeing doors open. See what I mean? This one right here. And you saw how we got the whisper. And that's how we will now know that this is where the ghost room is. And that's what I mean by checking for doors. And this can be on any map you play. If you're having trouble finding the ghost room, look for open doors. That is crazy. Okay. Mylings are whispering to the paramedic more. I'm not leaving my flashlight here. Even I don't trust myself with that. So now that we go back, there's a couple different things that you can do with this. As, you know, usually when I go back, and I definitely recommend going out the side door, because you're going to save sanity that way. So since we know it's on this side, I'm always going to enter and exit through this door, because it's going to save sanity rather than going through the front. It's always why I like to pick a side too, because usually the ghost is going to be on one side or the other. There are times it could be somewhere in the middle. Not usually, though, which is why I just kind of like to go from there. But I think, again, still what I'm going to do, though, is take in a book and take in a dots projector. So I'm still going to keep my same routine, and we'll come back down and we'll get, you know, some of these. But as you saw, we were in the house for a while. We lost about 15% sanity, so we're still... you know, 15 to 20%, whatever. Still around 80, so yes, a demon or a Thay could hunt us early, but at this point, we're pretty good on sanity-wise. And finding the ghost room is like the hardest part of this map. After you found the ghost room, you would just take the steps like you would any other investigation in any other house. It's definitely better with more people because there's not as much walking back and forth. Yeah, so we'll set up the book, we'll set up the dots, we'll come back down, we'll get the EMF, we'll get the UV. I have to go back up, maybe get another book, get the spirit box, all that. I'm not going to force you all to watch that, so if there's anything interesting that happens, I will show it, but we're going to just skip all that. If I had a UV, I could check it there. I am going to set the book right here, and we'll just sort of check this here. We can give a double check for the thermometer, and it's not quite freezing yet. But yeah, we're gonna go get some other things and be back. We do have UV, so we can go ahead and mark that. I figured I would grab that because I knew it had touched the door recently. So we do have UV. That's the only evidence that we have so far. And I'm going to drop this and head back and get the spirit box, video camera, and something else. Let me check. What door did it just touch? Down here? Yes, and there is the UV. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to go get the spirit box, the video camera, and maybe like another dots pin. We'll double check on freezing as well right quick while we're here. Still not freezing. Okay. So I don't see any ghost orbs. So that's kind of interesting. Now with ultraviolet, it could be a Goryo. So we do have to be careful of that. Which definitely makes it super annoying because Goryos, if you are not aware, they have dots, but you can only see the dots in camera. Or on camera, not in person. And you have to be outside of the ghost room. So kind of the way to tell that. Let's try spirit box first. Are you here? Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? Are you here? Are you friendly? Where are you? Well, that's EMF 5. So it could still be a Goryo. I guess we have to double check as well that we do not have ghost riding. We do have ghost riding. Okay, so there we go. We got UV, EMF 5, ghost riding. It is a myelane. Just like that. We are all good to go. And if this was confusing to you or you want to see more on me over-explaining everything as a beginner guide, you can go ahead and click or tap the screen now. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much to the channel members for the extra support. Happy hunting, everybody. And I'll go see you in the other beginner's guides.